Imagine this. You have two glass jars sitting in front of you. To the side of you, you have some sand, pebbles, and slightly bigger rocks. In one glass jar, you fill the sand, then the pebbles, and then you try and fit a couple of rocks on top. In the other glass jar, you put the big rocks in first, then you put the pebbles in, and then the sand fills the gap around them both. That's why we want to prioritize 3 to 5 key initiatives. We want to prioritize getting the big things done first and fitting the smaller things around it. So let's get started. Where do we start? Let's start with our beliefs, our values, the things that we want to lean on to help us make the best decisions. Think of these as the 3 to 5 to 10 commandments that your business will be based on. Let's create our 3 values. These should guide our organization's decisions, attitudes, behaviors, and performance. Ideally, our values are forever. And that doesn't mean we can't change them, but these are foundational things that set us up for success. They form the basis of everything that we do. Once we've established our values, what we need to do now is think about our purpose. Why are we doing what are we doing? What's the reason for the business that we're in? These purpose elements will help form our long-term view. I know it seems like a long time, but these should form the next 10 to 30 years. Think of it as our longer-term view. And maybe that's selling your business in 10 years, and that's great. Once we've established our purpose, the next thing to do is to decide on the key actions. So you want to sell the business in 10 years. That's great. What are the things that we're going to need to do along the way in order for that to happen? Let's start to think about these now, these big initiatives. So we're set with our values and our purpose. The next thing to do is start to think about where we're going and what we're going to need to do along the way. Now let's look at our targets. Let's look at year 5, year 4, and year 3. How much do we want to have generated? How much profit do we want to have? Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. This process of asking questions now is going to help create a better plan and a better chance of success. What are the hard numbers that we want to have achieved by these specific years? Once we've established our targets, now we can start thinking about our sandbox in our market. Where are our customers? What is our geographic market? What products or services are they going to be buying from us? And importantly, how are we going to get those products or services to them? The next step is to map out our key capabilities. What are we going to need in the next 3 to 5 years to meet those targets based on where our customers are? Are we going to need a new marketing plan? Are we going to need some more capital for the business? Are we going to need a retail store? Are we going to need to add new products or categories? What's our staffing going to look like? What are the big things that we're going to need along the way to help us meet the targets? What we also want to do is start to think about our brand promise. What is the commitment that we're making to our customers every day when they purchase our products? An easy way to think about this is to start thinking about what specific need or problem can you best satisfy for your customers, and how can you do it better than your competitors? The next section is the how. It's our 1 year, it's our 3-month and 90-day plan. It's about taking what we've developed and building it into a plan that we can make sure is accountable. Now we can turn the page and start to think about what's going to happen in the next 12 months. How much revenue are we going to have, and how much profit are we going to have? What's our business going to look like? Let's start to map out our annual targets. Similar to the 3 to 5 year, let's look at the key initiatives we're going to need to do in order to meet our targets. These might be people, process, systems, sales, or something else. If you're getting stuck trying to think about your annual priorities, start to think about if they're people related, or are they finance related, or are they operations or systems? What are the things that we're going to need to have here in order for us to meet our 12-month target? And the trick is, you have to make them measurable and specific. Okay, we're here. The next 3 months, it's only 90 days. What are the 3 to 5 key things that we're going to do that are going to move the organization forward based on our 12-month targets? Okay, so we have our 1 to 5 annual priorities. Well, the next step is to break that down into the next quarter, but specifically to think about the actions. What are the things that we're going to need to do along the way to achieve those annual priorities? These should be the most important things required for the business in order to achieve the 1 to 5 annual priorities. These should be very specific. They should have the who next to them. They should have what. What is that person doing? And importantly, when. When is it going to happen? That's how we create actions that work for our business. So where do these plans fail? They mostly fail in accountability. Things don't happen because we become too busy. We're too busy dealing with customers, with our team, with the day-to-day of running a business. The challenge with that is, oftentimes, those aren't the activities that are going to move the business forward. Imagine this. You have two glass jars sitting in front of you. To the side of you, you have some sand, pebbles, and slightly bigger rocks. In one glass jar, you fill the sand, then the pebbles, and then you try and fit a couple of rocks on top. In the other glass jar, you put the big rocks in first, then you put the pebbles in, and then the sand fills the gap around them both. That's why we want to prioritize 3 to 5 key initiatives. We want to prioritize getting the big things done first and fitting the smaller things around it. So that's it. That's your first draft of your plan. The next step is to get somebody else to review it and give it a couple of days for you to review it. Then come back to it and try and improve it a little bit. Try and ask a few deeper questions. Try and poke a few holes and ask, hey, what could go wrong? Then, once you've got it, start acting on it. Build it into your day-to-day. So that's it. I hope you found that useful.